You said here the president's plans are going to lower costs, they're going to get inflation down, but the president's been giving us that message for more than a year, basically without much success. So is it time for a pivot?
So I disagree with that not having much success, because if you look at the president's policies as it relates to, for example, the gas prices, the president took bold actions, as you've heard us say. You know, he tapped into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is a historic action, and because of that, and it has been proven by data, and that's because he took action. He took Inflation Reduction Act. Again, only Democrats, congressional Democrats voted for that. It's going to lower the cost of energy. It's going to, we understand that Americans are feeling a little bit of a squeeze right now, and we get that. The president gets that. When you think about inflation, when you think about what the president has done to lower costs, you think about gas prices, taking really historical actions to make sure we tapping into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve so that we can bring gas prices down. They have by $1.25. And you think about the Inflation Reduction Act, which is so important, which is going to lower energy costs, which is going to lower healthcare premiums. Republicans, the first thing that congressional Republicans said that they're going to do is they're going to repeal that.
On Friday, the president, in his statement on the jobs report, said, quote, "We're going to do what it takes to bring inflation down, but as long as I'm president, I'm not going to accept an argument that the problem is that too many Americans are finding good jobs." Was that statement directed at the Federal Reserve, which anticipates unemployment will go up as they raise interest rates? Or if not, who was the target of that clause?
Absolutely not. That was not targeted at the Federal Reserve. He was, I think speaking to the critics about the number of jobs that were created. And so he wanted to say that, hey, look, 260,000 jobs, no, 261,000 jobs is something that we should be praising, and we should be saying it's good that people are seeing their wages go up.
It seems open-ended. There's no end. There's going to, in the future, at some point, inflation is going to come down. We're still seeing inflation at 8.2%, near 40-year highs, and core inflation is still rising.
Well, we have seen actually that's not what we have seen from the data. The data has shown that we are seeing some easing in inflation. That is what we have seen from the most recent pieces of data, and that is important to note. We're not saying that inflation is not an issue for the American people, but if you look at the GDP, if you look at CPI, if you look at the data that we all look at, all economists take a really keen eye on these pieces of information. We are seeing inflation easing. Now, do we need to do more work? Absolutely. Is the president going to continue to do everything that he can to lower costs for the American people? Yes. The congressional Democrats and also the president has delivered. And that's why we've laid out our agenda. And our agenda has been to make sure that the American people get a little bit breathing room, to make sure that we have an economy that works for everyone. And we've laid out what one of the president's most biggest priority, right, his economic priority was making sure that we lower costs. That's what the Inflation Reduction Act was so important. Only Democrats voted for it.
Republican leader McCarthy is clearly expecting that the GOP will take the House. Is this White House prepared to work with the Republican Congress?
So I'm not gonna get into hypotheticals. I'm not going to get ahead of what is going to happen tomorrow. I'm just going to. You guys will hear directly from the president, as I've stated many times before, on Wednesday, the day after the elections. But I'm not going to get into speculation.